Welcome to the Friday Arse show. Going on later than normal at 9 o'clock. We did that to accommodate the Aussie twat who didn't turn up. He went out on the piss last night. Could be why. You know, it's early morning there, so we'll let him off. But I think the banner's warranted at the bottom. But anyway, Cory, you're back after your mishap of falling asleep and not waking up.
That's right. Listen, sometimes you got to catch up on some sleep. Do you know what I mean? I just happened to choose the wrong time to do it, but you'd be glad to know I'm feeling refreshed and ready to go.
I should hope so. It's been a week. And joining us again, Big Steve. He's feeling unwell. We'll have to go easy on him. He's had a lemsip.
I haven't. They taste like shit. But I had some Thai green noodles, some beechams, and a bunch of water. So let's see how we go.
Fair play, right? Well, we're going to get into the big one today. We've got the North London derby coming up. We're also going to discuss the Europa League game. So we'll get on with that one first. We'll get that out of the way before the big guns start coming out. So, Cory, we'll come to you first, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Really good game, really enjoyable to watch. Completely different Arsenal team. I said the same last week when we was discussing about Mulder. The difference is night and day between the league team and the Europa team. How did you feel about it, mate? What was your enjoyable moments of the game?
I mean, all of it pretty much. All the players looked lively. Pepe looked lively. Nelson, Maitland-Niles in the middle. I think he played really well. I think the misses that he had might have sort of like made people feel like, you know, oh, he's not ready. But it was actually like, you know, quite a good performance. Good to see Pablo Mari back, you know, back with a goal as well.
Solid. Well, wanted to be fair.
Yeah, he was solid. It was just a good, energetic, lively performance. That you could tell that you felt like they wanted it. I think a lot of them players went out there with a point to prove, because they're not a lot of them are getting minutes in the league game. So it's like, this is the only chance they're really getting to really like showcase their skills. Look, Rapid Vienna, they're not world beaters. They're probably, if they were I don't think they'd be in a Premiership, but they're probably more of a Championship level side. But the way that we dealt with them, I was really happy with, and you know, we want to see some of that enthusiasm and energy in the Premier League games.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you, mate. But it like I said, like you were saying a minute ago, the energy, the wanting to go for the ball, the rhythm that they had passing around, it didn't really give Rapid Vienna much chance to get even play their game. Steve, we'll come to you, mate, and I think this is definitely warranted for this game. I know you've got it, mate. I know you've got it.
But I said last week, everyone's got it at the moment. Everyone's got it. Like they're playing out their skins, and I mean, the one point I just want to counter on Cory. You know, he said about Maitland-Niles and the misses, and people might be sort of umming and ahhing. I think if people are umming and ahhing, I know you're not saying that you are, but if people are umming and ahhing because he missed a couple of chances, then fuck him, because as a midfielder, it's not a midfielder's job to be putting them away. He should have put them away, yes, but it's his first start in midfield. He bossed the game. He bossed the game from midfield, constantly driving into the box. The fact that we've got a midfielder even in a position to score is leaps and bounds better than everyone else.
Makes a change.
I did see a couple of tweets where people were saying, "Oh, you should be putting them away. You know, Arsenal midfielders should be putting them away. Look at Fabregas, look at Cazorla, blah blah blah." Still got a long way to go, and yeah, he's got a long way to go. But the fact that he's already one game, and whether it's Vienna or not, leaps and bounds above Xhaka. Leaps and bounds in terms of his movement and the quality on the ball. Leaps and bounds above what we've seen from El Nene. El Nene is solid, but Maitland-Niles showed us what he can give. So, and if anyone's doubting him on a couple of misses, then they're fucking idiots. But
well, if anyone's got a point to prove and anyone's got a case to be putting into the league team, for instance, to replace Xhaka or El Nene or Ceballos, he's got to put his foot surely in the door for that.
Yeah.
Just the way he played in that game. You know, he had a couple of misses, but like you said, Steve, I agree with you. You know, it is a case of it's his first game in midfield for God knows how long.
I think the last time he played there was like Southampton a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think probably was. I think he may have played there once, coming on as a sub, but not really doing anything for it. Go on, Cory. Sorry, mate.
No, I think he did play a few minutes in the Europa League this campaign in midfield as well. So
that's why I said coming on as a sub. I think he
did. But this was his sort of a start.
Maiden voyage.
He was given that responsibility, and he showed what he can do. Definitely, he did boss it. I know he's got that in him. Even just what I like about him is even if the sort of quality is not there, his presence is always felt in games. He's there. He doesn't go missing in matches. Doesn't matter if he's left back, right back, or midfield. Like the opposition know he's about. Yeah. So that's a little bit of what we need right now. We need a bit of presence, and we need a bit of energy, and we need a bit of enthusiasm. Even if you do have to sacrifice a little bit of technique and whatnot, I feel like that's more needed right now than somebody that can sort of ping a ball from the left side of the pitch to the right.
Yeah,
someone who makes their presence known. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Definitely agree on that one. And like I say before, did he get an assist in this game as well? I think he did, didn't he?
I think he did get it. I think so.
The third goal.
He assisted Smith Rowe, did he not?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Third goal.
They had the little bromance afterwards.
Yeah.
He was very good. I thought. I mean, one person that people aren't really talking about. I thought Cedric had a very good game.
Yeah.
I thought Cedric went well unnoticed. What I liked about Cedric is when he went forward, he would always wait and see what was on. So he's in a position where he can come back if need be, but also still get to the positions he needs to get if the team still goes forward. It wasn't just a blind run forward and then turn back and go, because he's overrun the play. It was sort of go, wait, and then he knew what he had to do, and he was doing that constantly. He was always sort of on the halfway line, just judging what was happening. And I think positionally he was very good. He can cross a ball. He had a nice little whip in. I think it was before the first goal. The first goal was the Lacazette goal. Before the second goal, I think he popped it in, and then they played it over to whoever it was. I can't remember who scored the second goal. Was it Eddie's goal? No,
Eddie missed his chances.
Eddie, clipped it and then headed it in.
No, it wasn't Eddie. It was Lacazette with the first.
So was it Mari with the second?
Mari was
the second. There was a point where Cedric.
Eddie Nketiah did get one. Sorry, he was his third.
He did.
I apologise for that. I thought he missed his chances. He didn't.
He did miss, and then he headed it in.
Yeah,
in the same instance. Yeah,
it was a good save. To be fair, it was a good save. I think the keeper got down very quick, got an arm out, and then again that is the fact that he's still. This is what I do like about Eddie: the fact that every minute he's in the box, he's alert. You've seen Lacazette, Aubameyang, whoever else. Even Giroud used to do it. They'd missed their first chance, and their head would instantly drop within that split second. Whereas Eddie just was on it. He knew exactly where that ball was popping up and made sure he got ahead to it.
Yeah, a few of his goals have been like that, where he just capitalizes on the fact that some other people might be a bit switched off, or he's the first to get to a ball.
Yeah.
That's one thing about him. You can't doubt his sort of this alertness in the box, his concentration, and his constant sort of looking for an opportunity. Out of nothing.
I think with Eddie, he just needs to finish them chances. That's the thing.
I think the thing with the thing you got to credit him though on is the fact that Lacazette and Aubameyang, they've not been getting into the position where they've been getting the chances. So at least if Eddie misses 3 or 4, you at least know that he's there, which I think is a step in the right direction.
I'm not going against his work rate. I'm not going against on his position skills.
Yeah.
I'm not going on that at all, because I think like yesterday's game, he got it all right. The finishing was the worst bit, and I've criticised. I mentioned about Saka. He's doing the same sort of thing. It's just I know he's only 19. I'm not going to go over critical on him because I'm not. He's been one of our best players. He does everything right. It just comes to that little final finishing touch. And I think that's the issue he's got at the minute. So I just think he needs to practice them shooting boots a little bit. And the same for Eddie. You know, if you're going to push into this first team now, you know, with Aubameyang not scoring, Lacazette, all right, he scored an absolute screamer yesterday. But with him not scoring in the league, you've got to make that perfect chance and say, look at me. I can score goals. I can do it. Put me in, coach. That's the thing that you got to think of. And another person who I think was going to come up to mention, Nelson. He's another person who played a good game. And DWTT, don't waste a tweet. You know, we was talking about people who had good games. He's mentioned. So did Nelson and AMN. We did mention AMN. You got to start the show early, mate. And then he also says, like, AMN make a case to at least be on the bench this weekend. Completely agree. Nelson had a great game.
Nelson should be starting, and I do have a feeling that he might.
Over Willian, definitely.
Just because he got hooked off at 60 minutes. I think that was Arteta making his mind up. I think if he wasn't sure, he would have stayed out there longer. And I just hope the thing is Nelson at the moment this season, you've got people who tend to be tweeting two things. Either he has to be playing because he's all over the place, or Nelson shit, he can't deliver a set piece. And
what player can at Arsenal?
Yeah, there's a simple thing there. Don't put him on set pieces.
Oh, actually, I tell you, who took the corner for Mari? It's goal header.
That was it Pepe?
It probably was Pepe.
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, if he was on the pitch, I imagine it would be Pepe.
Yeah,
let me have a look at
he's another one who actually, to be fair, I thought Pepe had a great game.
No, it was Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there we go. But I do remember I left a comment on Arsenal fans forum. There was a set piece, and we were sort of about 10 yards sort of from the edge of the box, and he swung it in and bang, first defender gone. And we've seen that probably 4 or 5 times in the last couple of weeks from Nelson. Just don't have him on set pieces unless he's whacking. You know, that header was a bloody good header though as well. It's good to get there, good delivery, but that header was monstrous. They just fizzled off the post, didn't it? But
yeah, I mean, I think with Nelson, the issue I have with him is like when we saw him the other day, his crossing was not great. Like he couldn't even clear the first man when he was getting into those areas. So, but for me, I feel like when people are sort of bad at crossing, I'm like, how? You know, it's like I think it's an easy thing to work on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if he was sort of concentrating on that in training and whatnot, and you know, just sort of getting his trajectory right and whatnot, then I feel like he should play because, like we said, we need some energy and enthusiasm right now. If you take all the players that have the most energy and enthusiasm, and then put a Partey and a Aubameyang, you know, around these types of players, you know, their energy is going to be infectious, and those guys have got the quality.
We saw it in the passing game.
So go on.
Definitely, we saw it in the passing game, like the ground game on Thursday yesterday. It was best we've seen it in a long while, and that's because Nelson was constantly making different runs, given an option. Pepe was the same. Lacazette was pulling the strings. You had, Maitland-Niles coming from deep to be at, Nketiah trying to link play. So the fact that Nelson's there giving another option is exactly what we need at the moment, because Willian isn't doing it. Willian has not been doing it. So definitely, yeah, that enthusiasm, as you say, is exactly what we need right now.
Yeah, so all the players that we look at and they look like they can't be asked, just give them a chop. I would keep a lot of this team. I'll keep a lot of the Rapid Vienna team. Put in Gabriel, put in a Partey, put in a Aubameyang, and keep and I still want to see guys like Smith Rowe, and those guys get some minutes as well because that youthful energy is something that was just badly lacking at the moment. So I'll be bold if I was Arteta. I'll be bold and say, do you know what? Let's try it. You know what I mean? And a lot of these kids are English as well, and they know what the North London derby means. You know, a lot of them came from the academy. Yeah. They know, so if they're showing a lot of enthusiasm now in that match, I expect it to be sort of red hot.
Yeah, I said it on a messenger group, actually, to be fair, when we've been talking about energy and moving forward and the passing game. I said it on a messenger group that I'm on with the other Arse brothers what we are on. I said this would have been a perfect game for Aubameyang to be up top. I really do, because I think, like, similarly what you've just said, that energy, he'd thrive off it, massively thrive off it. And I think that would have been a perfect game for him. And I just hope we can bring that energy and that commitment and tenaciousness just to in the North London derby, which, in all fairness, I think this is what we should move on to in a minute. And I just want to bring in this one, Tom in the chat, bring back Frimpong, and then he's also on we love you, Frimpong, we do. No, let's not bring Frimpong back. Please, no.
No, he was a walking red card.
Do you know what? I had time for Frimpong. I really felt like Frimpong was just a representation of a fan who got an opportunity to play for Arsenal. That's what he was like. It was like Steve or Scunny just been given a shirt, thrown onto the pitch, and it's like, you know what, do your best. That's who Frimpong was.
And then he got red carded.
Like, we would probably get red carded as well. We'd be really
probably right.
I mean, we don't know what we're doing. We'd be sliding into tackles, and then
especially an NLD, mate.
It was his debut at Barnsley that got me. When he went off to Barnsley, he made his debut off the bench, and within 5 minutes got a straight red. Never played for him again. Was released in the Jan. I was just like, he's just, the guy's amazing.
That's what summed him up. And so let's get into this North London derby. Normally, what I do a prediction of who I think is going to play where and stuff like that. Today, I'm not going to bother doing that. One, I didn't really want to look at Spurs players, to be honest with you. I didn't want to go again. I didn't want to really I'll type in Kane, I'll type in this. I didn't want to do that. I just can't bring myself to do it. So that's probably the main reason why. And secondly, I just couldn't be fucking bothered. If I'm being honest. I was a bit late to this, actually. I should have been on it, but I wasn't. So, North London derby.
Yes, Kieran, I've changed my calendar. Sorry.
Sorry, there's a comment here, and I think Kieran made a comment on a different show he was on. Was you on Guns?
Yeah, Guns.
He made calendar about Guendouzi in the background in the calendar, which is...
It's Pepe now.
Pepe now. I think I've got the same calendar, so it's not in my room. I'm only here to make sure Steve's changed his calendar. Yes, mate. I think Guendouzi was November. It's now December.
Yeah, I did it on the 1st. I forgot to change it when I went live, and Kieran noticed.
Fair play. I bet he's got that calendar,
Yeah.
If everyone wants to know, Kieran is a friend of mine. He is from my town, so we've been to a couple of games together on the away matches, when we was allowed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the parents probably would have been going to this derby if we wasn't in these tiers and the stadiums were allowed people in. But let's get on to it, shall we? Are we excited for this one, Cory? Come on, mate, you got to be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited for the NLD. Look, it's not the greatest circumstances. It's not the greatest circumstances to be going into a North London derby. They're top. We're 14th. They're doing good. We're doing bad. But we already know the cliche is that all of that goes out the window in a derby match, especially this derby match, and we do need to sort of dig deep and find something from somewhere to really because we can't get humiliated by a Jose Mourinho coached Tottenham team. It's just what I mean? This is just really bad that these two cunts are together, and then they come and beat us. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I am not optimistic in terms of this what the result is going to be, but I do want us to go out there and look like we give a shit.
Yeah. And this is the issue I've got at the minute is obviously with the games past, like Leeds and the Wolves game, it's just that they haven't really performed, have they? And they've looked like they've just thrown the toys out and just gone, I can't be bothered anymore. And we've mentioned it before, and I'm sure we've all mentioned it on different pods that we've all been on about how much these same players seem to be doing exactly the same and this, that, the other. I don't really want to get into that. We all know that Xhaka's shit. Aubameyang can't be bothered at the minute. Lacazette, enough said. And even though he did score that screamer yesterday, he doesn't really turn up, does he, a lot of the time? And then we can go on about others. But I didn't really want to get into that sort of thing. I want to try and keep it within the NLD and let's get, I want to try and get riled up for it a little bit. And that's the issue that I'm getting at the minute. I can't get that.
No,
I can't get that excited because one, our form, two, our position, their position. It's just, I'm genuinely worried about this one.
Get riled up. You know what? This type of form that we're in, it can change in the space of one match, like within the match. Do you know what I mean? It's just about if we score, when we score, who scores the goal. I think we badly need an Aubameyang goal. Yeah, because he is somebody who is, he seems like a really upbeat, happy-go-lucky type of guy. Yeah, and you can imagine that's quite, around the squad in the dressing room. That's quite infectious. So, if he's doing well and he's happy, then we tend to do well. So if kick off, first 5 minutes, something lands to Aubameyang, he scores a goal, right? Everyone's going to be super happy for him. Everyone's that whole weight is going to be lifted, and then within the match, we can turn things around. And so I'm holding out hope that something like that happens.
Yeah, something needs like that happens.
Yeah, and then our energy and everything gets lifted, and then we're like, yes, like we can do this. I get some belief in the team. So I'm not right. So the other matches were crap or whatever, but we know this. Look, if we stay in this form, we're going to get relegated. Do we really think we're going to get relegated? No. Yeah. So therefore, we all have faith that it's going to turn around. Yeah. And what better team to do it against? Yeah. Than the scum up the road.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Steve.
I was just about to cough.
All right. He was going like, I'm in. Didn't realize you was fucking joking.
Yeah, I almost was. No, I totally agree. The thing is, I was worried. I was quite worried before Thursday, and because even I can't remember who was saying or where I saw it, but someone made a very good point. And even in the Europa League, even though we've been scoring goals and things have been a little bit better than the league, we haven't seen Arsenal play like that. Fluid, constant movement, constant options. And so I don't know whether that's something that they've really worked on in training this week, because obviously they all train together. We've seen a similar game plan in the Europa to the league. It's just the players that are put in generally seem to click a little bit more, and the level of opposition is lower. But regardless of the level of opposition, the level of opposition doesn't dictate to whether or not these players are playing a certain way. So I think maybe that's something we've worked on, is to just try and get a bit more movement, a bit more fluidity. I think having Lacazette, rather than play him as a striker that comes deep, because then you're essentially playing him, then there's no one up top. So I think having him play that role and playing in a 4-2-3-1, I think was probably with one eye on Sunday. I hope it was with one eye on Sunday. And I don't know. I think after yesterday, I'm a little bit more optimistic, because yes, I think form does go out the window. I think Mourinho may have seen that and been like, oh shit, maybe they have got something up. We don't know whether Partey's going to get any minutes.
Not if he plays at all.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's all. That's a question mark for Spurs. Does he come in? Does he not come in? There's a lot floating about. So I think they're going to have some doubts as well. I don't think they're as confident as what they're probably making out, because we've seen
won the league
past
already, apparently.
Yeah, we've seen in the past they turn around and they're flying high and we're in shit form. It happened the other year, didn't it? Under Emery, when we sort of turned it around and did them. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be an open game. I'm not overly positive of a win. I do still think we'll get beat, but I'm a lot more positive than I was. I'm still not that positive, but I think if we bring in a Nelson, if Saka plays on the left, we have a Aubameyang up top with Lacazette in that hole. Please don't play Xhaka, but maybe an El Neni and a Ceballos in that too. I don't think Maitland-Niles will come in.
I'd put AMN in there, to be perfectly honest with
you. I'd love Maitland-Niles to play
would.
next to El Neni. I just think that is the perfect combination for what we've got at the moment. You've got El Neni, who's the solid player that's going to link between the centre backs and going forward. And Maitland-Niles is going to constantly drive you forward and move on the ball. So I'd like to see that, but I think it will be Ceballos and El Neni. I really fucking hope Xhaka's not there.
I feel we need to put. I was reading Arse book, and he talked about how Pat Rice wanted to pick a complete 11 of fighters in the North London derby, and he was like, "No, we need to, need to complement it with technical players as well." And I think that's what I'm kind of leaning towards Pat Rice in that, let's get a decent amount of fighters on the pitch, and then but then still have the Aubameyang and a Saka and players that can finish when in the right place in the right time. So I feel like when you say Ceballos to me, I don't think fighter. And in terms of like sort of a technical player, it's like I'm not sure if that's what's needed in this match. I'm sort of just put the guys in there that are just gonna like kick some ass, basically. Like put themselves about, like we talked about Maitland-Niles and presence. Have that presence. We don't need no passengers in this match. I know what was probably gonna happen, but I would really just want Arteta to just be bold on this one.
Yeah, that does actually bring up a good thing here, which I've got a question from Why Not Sentiment FC or YN0T Sentiment FC. I don't know how to do it, mate. I'm sorry. I apologise. I know you said hello a minute ago, and I give you another thumbs up, mate. But you do make a good point on this one as well. A good question, actually. Is it a good idea to play a 2-man midfield against the Scums, 3-man midfield? Personally, if it was me, I would actually go with that 4-2-3-1 formation that we played against Vienna. It flowed, and I think it would still flow with people like, with your Xhakas and your Ceballos. I think it would still flow with that because you've got that extra man in midfield with it, as you would say, a 4-3-3, because the middle of your top three can pull back. Similar to what Lacazette did in yesterday's game. He did pull back a few times. So you have got that option.
I think
the other half of me on that one says that I think we should go with a back five, but I'd probably stick with the 4-2-3-1. Go on, Steve. I know you're itching to get on this one.
So if we do play a Saka and a Nelson, full well they're going to drop back because they've got the energy to drop back and go box to box. Whereas having Willian on the right, even though he can come inside and do what he may do, his 1 in 4 games, 1 in 5 games, or as this season's been 1 in 10. I don't think this is a game for Willian. I think this is a game we need that energy. So I would 100% go Saka and Nelson either side of the three, have Lacazette in that hole, and have your 2-man double pivot. I think that's the way to go. So it's not quite a 2-man midfield because when we're defending it, we'll be able to bring it back into sort of a 4-4-2 almost, with Lacazette and Aubameyang playing higher. Or if we go full defensive, you can put Tierney in as a centre back, Saka to drop back even further, and then you've got essentially a 5-4-1 across the middle, or a 5-3-2. Whatever, we've got options, and that's the one thing I do like about this side at the moment is there's always, because of the way that Tierney's played in the back three and the way that Saka can drop back into left wing back, or if Maitland-Niles does play, how he can drop back as well. I think we've got options to change things during the game without making a substitution, but ultimately I want to see that 4-2-3-1, and I really do want to see Lacazette in the hole with Nelson and Saka.
Yeah, I think it's about shape, right? I remember when Arteta first came, and one thing that I noticed about what he implemented was us having a disciplined shape. to the side and defending as a team and, going forward as a team. Sometimes I didn't like it because sometimes I felt like Pepe had to drop too deep. And then by the time he received the ball, he's too far from goal.
Yeah.
But in terms of us defensively, it worked. So no matter who you had on the pitch, it's like when we didn't have the ball and we had to drop, it's like we dropped back as a team, maintained our shape, maintained our discipline, and we were able to like shut out a lot of teams and really reduce the amount of chances that we had. So I think let's do that again against Tottenham. We know their dangers. We know Harry Kane. We know what he's going to do. He's now a danger from up front and sort of in that sort of number 10 role as well. So we have to worry about the runners going beyond him. We have to worry about Ndombele, who's obviously a physical force in midfield. We have to make sure that we can compete physically with them in midfield. And we definitely need to have some pace in the side because we're gonna want someone like a Nelson and a Saka to be able to track back and pick up on Son and whoever else is they're going to play, Bergwijn or Moira or Bale.
I hope they play Bale because he's not been great.
Yeah, I mean Bale's not got started yet, has he? Really,
he's not really known. He didn't really get started at Real Madrid, did he? Really before the loan. So,
but you know what? I didn't think he would. Like even when they said about Bale, oh, he's not going to play until October. I was like, why so long? Like they're really treating him with kid gloves. Yeah, there, even though it's only a loan.
It's a 20 million loan though.
20 I know, million. 20 million just to basically get him match fit. You know what I mean? For next season.
Shirt sales.
Yeah, but I understood it, right? And I understood it because I know, we've seen it happen before. When you got a big player join the club, right? He doesn't even have to play. He just needs to be in the dressing room. And then all the other players feel like they need to up their game and up their level because they've got this guy who's won 3 Champions Leagues and has played for the biggest club in the world and has scored important goals and whatnot. It lifts everybody. And I thought just for that reason alone, I could see why they're getting this loan and bringing him in, And so I'm not even really against it. I don't really think that he has to do too much on the pitch. It's just his presence. But I hope they do play him because he's a bit slower than the other forwards, and probably a bit easier to mark. But we have to worry about all that. I mean, this match, both coaches, we have to worry more about them than them about us. When Mourinho watches back our last how much games, he's going to be like, this is going to be a walk in the park. What am I even? When I'm looking at their danger men and what they're good at, they're going to be like, fuck all, So they ain't worrying about us. But that's why
we are the underdogs, mate. Definitely,
of course. But this is why we have the opportunity where we can surprise them. They don't know what to. If we turn up like how we did yesterday, they're not going to be expecting that. So it's really important that we come out hard and fast and surprise them and catch them on the back foot.
I suppose that brings me to that point where it's been reported in the news today, I believe. I don't know who leaks these things, but apparently it got leaked today that Arteta dragged all the squad in to have a chat. Was it Tuesday?
I think the thing on Tuesday, they clear the air talks, and there's heated words.
There was a big clear the air talk, and then Arteta left. And the rest of the squad, Steve's dying, but the rest of the squad actually stayed behind after Arteta and the rest of the management left, and they had a very, very heated chat. But apparently, it finished quite amicable. How do you think that hopefully would make the difference on this weekend? If it actually happened, I don't know. It's just a rumour or reporting.
Yeah, well, I read that earlier, and when I saw that, I just thought that's either, because apparently it happened on Tuesday. I just think that's either more bollocks to try and divide the fan base. There's upset in the camp. This is, Arteta's fault, blah, blah, because there's always shit being put out like that. But then I just think, could that be, if that did happen and they really did have heated discussion with Arteta and then players amongst themselves, could that be why we saw more from the players in terms of enthusiasm on Thursday? I think there's something in it because something changed yesterday. The scoreline was similar to other games, but other games we'd coasted and we'd come out in the second half and it was the subs that had made the difference. Yesterday, it was from the start. Yesterday, we saw passion, we saw enthusiasm, we saw movement, we saw fluidity, we saw all these things, so regardless of the scoreline, because yesterday, in terms of chances that we had, could have been 7, 8, 9, You know, there was a lot missed and a lot going forward. So there was a real big change in the performance. So I think there might be something in it because something had to change.
I think so. I do. I think, look, another thing that Arsene Wenger said in his book, right, is
I might as well not fucking read this book.
Well, you took too long. It came out ages ago.
Oh, no,
he's getting it for Christmas, Cory. Come on.
But he said, as a manager, you have to align yourself with the best players. Yeah. Because if you don't, and the best players are against you, yeah, then you're constantly fighting against the tide. Okay. Now, when we think of best, we think, say, Aubameyang, right? But nobody really stands out as a best player. But let's go back in history. Yeah. Best player, Ozil. Yeah. So at one point, he was a top player. That's why he got the 350 grand week contract in the first place. Yeah. Now, he's not only has he gone against him, he's totally alienated him. You know, doesn't even register him for the squad. So at once upon a time he was a top player at Arsenal, right? We don't know how popular he is in the dressing room. Yeah,
in the bedroom. Mate.
I don't know what, mate. I don't want to go down this route.
I mean, I've got Pepe on my wall, but that's taking it to a new level of freaky.
We had the discussion with Ryan not long ago in his kitchen. I'm not having this discussion about Ozil.
Okay, all right. We'll leave that one till another time. But we don't know. We don't know. Yeah, we pretend like we know. We think like we know. We think, oh, we don't like Ozil. We think he's shit, and you know he's got a bad attitude because he didn't want to take a pay cut and whatever. We don't know if he lent Aubameyang money one time, if he took him in when his missus kicked him out. If he puts her arms around all the young players and gives them good words of advice, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know the situation that the players had with Guendouzi. Was he really popular? Guendouzi always stood up for his teammates, right? Anytime things popped off on the pitch, yeah, Guendouzi's the first one to run over, right, and put himself in the mix, yeah, and players love that. Yeah, when it comes to handbags, it's like we want to see which one of you guys is going to be the first one to back me. Guendouzi is always that first guy. Again, banished from the club, right? Socrates, not registered to play either, yeah? The new French boy, what's his name again? Saliba, not registered in the squad. We don't know if he's in the dressing room going, like, what's up? Like, why have I not even been registered? Like, I signed for the club how long ago?
Last season.
Yeah, and then when things are not going great, and Arteta still wants to have a heavy hand, yeah. I remember as well. He's quite young. He's a young manager, you know. So when you're so close to age with your players, yeah, they don't always naturally kind of have that sort of respect for you because you're not like a father figure to them. You're just a slightly older but young guy that's in there sort of saying, well, this is not going to be tolerated. This is unacceptable. Making all these decisions about people's playing careers, right? So I can believe that there was a clear the air talks. I can believe that some of them did have problems with him. And we've also said on here as well, like his team selections sometimes seem a bit unfair. You know, like certain players get all the chances in the world whilst others don't get a look in, you know. So that's going to upset certain people. Now, we don't have a problem as such with Arteta. We're all sort of say, all right, patience, we're going to back him or whatever, but we're not privy to what goes on behind the scenes. So, but I can imagine that there was some tension there.
Yeah, I can imagine there was a lot of tension there for exactly the same reasons that you've just been saying as well. I can definitely see that. You know, you got to look at the things like there was a question in the comments. Sorry, I can't see it at the minute. There was a comment in the comment things about Bellerin against Son. You know, in the derby coming up, that scares me. I never thought of it before until I saw it in the comments. I apologize again. I can't remember who put it up, but that scares me because of the way Bellerin plays at the minute. Because he always seems to cut in field. Now he's leaving a big gap. Now on ArseBros, there's myself, Max, Toby, Manny, Ryan. We have a thing 3-2-1s 1-2-3. So if anyone watches ArseBros and you watches the monthly shows, you'll see that we have that thing. And the last game I put Bellerin as -1. I'm basically -3 because I thought he was probably the worst player on the pitch because of that reason. You know, he moved out against Wolves and Tobias had to cover and this, that, you know, we can go on about it, but it's something that I spotted. not everyone has to agree with me. I'm not bothered about that. You know, everyone has had their difference of opinion. The problem I had, well, the thing is that no one, the rest of the guys, I think there's only a couple that actually agreed with me. The rest of them give him quite high numbers because I thought he played really well. The reason why I give him so low is his defensive. Going forward is fine. Is does great going forward. It's his defensive. Well, it's basically his defensive things. He's a left back. He's a right back. What you're meant to defend as a defender, surely. That's one of your. That's job 101. You're a defender. You defend. But not everyone agrees with me. But against Son, he's a very fast player, very good player.
Yeah, I mean, look,
what do you think
Mourinho, Jose, you know, he's done his homework on us. He's 100% targeted Bellerin as a weak point, and he's 100% told Son, you know, give this guy hell, you know, get the ball down that side, you know. It's bad, you know. That side is our weakest side, and on top of that, that's their strongest side. And they're gonna try and expose it time and time again. So he's gonna need help. We know that, and I think I think he's a smart guy. I think he knows that as well. So he's gonna need to put things in place to ensure that, you know, Bellerin is exposed as least amount as possible.
Yeah, because against the Wolves game, he was very exposed against Podence and Neto, and we said it on the last week's show. It was me and you, Steve. We said it about these two guys being really good, as well as Adama Traore, but he plays on the opposite side. But we mentioned about Podence and Neto, and it just sort of came to fruition with that.
Yeah, it's his positioning that's getting Bellerin. I mean, there's been a few times this season where he's got back and he's made some great sweeping tackles, or he's got in the way of something.
He did in the Wolves game. Don't get me wrong, he did do that. He saved Holding, basically. He saved him from absolute calamity. But I mean, the rest of the game, that's the issue.
That's it. They're still exploiting it because they know that they're going to be able to try and catch that side. And luckily, he looks as if he's got that yard of pace back. Bellerin, he looks fitter. He looks stronger on the ball. He doesn't look as lightweight, but it's leaving that gap. And Holding's not that quick. Holding is getting caught out. And I don't think that's as a huge. You know, I don't think that's necessarily on him. I think that is down to the positional play of Bellerin, and Willian doesn't always come all the way back. So, again, you know, if Maitland-Niles did play in midfield, I could see him playing on that right side just to give that extra option. And I think they'll play, you know, hopefully they'll play sort of like a quite tight triangle. You know, Nelson will come back. You've got Maitland-Niles, you've got Bellerin, all able to sort of interchange and still have that presence going forward, but have the stability on, you know, when you're on the back foot. That would be an advantage of playing Maitland-Niles there at the centre mid, or, you know, it's not going to happen. But even if he was to bring Maitland-Niles in as a right back, you know, he did the job 2 or 3 times at the back end of last season, coming in as a fullback. So I don't think it will happen. But again, I think having someone like that will really help counter the poor positional play of Bellerin. So,
I mean, someone like Ainsley, that was his main purpose before when we played against City and Liverpool, and it's like, look, I want you to stay on Salah, stay on Mahrez or whoever, and just don't let them breathe. You know, like, stay on them, do not let them pass you. And then when he just had that sort of that mission that he was set on, he done well with it. You know, guys that are sort of rely on sort of pace and trickery don't like him. Don't like him because he is quick. He, like I said, he has presence. He is mobile. He can move. You know, he doesn't. You know, even if you can sort of pull a little trick and get past him, he's got recovery pace. He can still catch you. So that's the type of thing that we need now. Where it's and a bit unpredictable as well in terms of, like, you know, if you were to throw him in, then Jose and his coaching staff wouldn't necessarily have accounted for that inclusion. You know,
they haven't seen him enough. They haven't seen him enough.
So they wouldn't account for it. So their whole plan could be disrupted by a surprise inclusion like that. Yeah. So
This is what we need to do as well. These surprise inclusions, throw in a couple of these young lads, see what you know. What I mean, just give Jose something to think about.
Yeah, like it's like, oh,
make him
wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and yeah, something a bit different. Because look, if we go out there, like we did against Wolves, you know, we're gonna get torn up. You know,
that horseshoe formation that we seem to be ending up in, that where it just seems to go like this, you know, and everyone seems to be in that horseshoe. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You've got midfielders spaced out. You've got the forwards spaced out. You've got no one coming through the middle. You're just going to get torn apart against this Tottenham team if you're going to do that. If we're going to be honest, that's what's going to happen.
Because look, the reality is when we face Wolves, right, that was a Wolves team that were a little bit devoid of confidence themselves, that weren't scoring goals, that actually had so little regard for us as an attacking force that they went from 3 at the back to, you know, a back 4. You know, that they thought this is the game where we don't actually have to be that defensive. And,
they did go 4 the week before, to be fair.
Okay, but look, from the start of the season, they've been playing 3 and they haven't been scoring goals. Yeah,
it's been the last
and then they come up against us, and then they're just dribbling all over the place. They're busting all these tricks. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're like, so we can't go into this game like that, because when you've got a team like Wolves, it's a mid-table team who actually just have no respect for you and are not scared of you at all. That team going up against this Tottenham side, who are obviously themselves are going to be extra motivated to humiliate us, and they're going to think this is their best opportunity to do so, to really take the piss out of us. Yeah, we can't let that happen, and they're badly going to want it to happen, and they're going to think this is the best opportunity. So we have to do something a bit different, and we're going to have to be a bit extra, and we're going to have to want it more than them, and we're going to have to fight more than them in order to just to not be humiliated, let alone actually like get a result.
There's a good comment there from Why Not. He just said about Joe Willock playing in the pivot right centre mid role. I mean, someone we've not even mentioned. And to be honest,
let's go on it. Just mention it, Steve, quick here. AMN right wing back in a 3-5-2. Joe Willock in a pivot right centre mid role. Go on, Steve. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should go with a 3. I think we need to stick with a 4. If we get spanked, we get spanked. But I think persist and really try and work on something going forward now with this back 4 and this 4-2-3-1. But Joe Willock, I think, to be honest, he's been all right the last few games, and I think he does offer you something different that we haven't really got. But I think in terms of what people want from Joe Willock, I think Smith Rowe does it better. You know, those runs in the box. I think Maitland-Niles has showed that he can do exactly the same as Joe Willock has done. Willock didn't play yesterday, did he?
No, he played against Wolves.
Yeah, he played against Wolves. I don't know what that's about, whether he's picked up a knock or whether he is being saved. I don't know.
It could be anything with Joe Willock, but I'm sort of with you on that one, Steve. I think the thing is with Joe Willock is I think this is a game too far for him at the minute.
I do, and as well, you look at how we want to set up. I can't see him doing a better job than Elneny. I can't see him doing a better job than Maitland-Niles in midfield. I can't see him doing a better job than Ceballos would do. He'd do a better job than Xhaka because he'd actually be fucking moving around.
And not passing backwards and sideways.
Yeah. So
Lieutenant Dan is what he's been nicknamed on the
I like Willock. But I don't think this is the game for him. And I think Willock's a sort of player that, you know, if we are playing a 3 and you've got 2, you know, we're not playing an out-and-out 10, I think, yeah, he could be an option, a box-to-box 8, if you've got someone like Partey and Elneny behind him. But if we're going to 4-2-3-1, and if we're going to try that Lacazette in the 10 role, and I think he needs a go at doing that in the league with Aubameyang in front, just because of how well he played and how well he was pulling the strings yesterday. I'd like to see it tried, just because this is a game we've been saying, you know, we've got nothing to lose really. Like, if we go out, play 10 men behind the ball and lose 1-0, people are going to be slagging Arteta off the high heavens. Why did we go defensive? If we go 4-3-3 and we get spanked 4-0, people are going to say, why didn't you go with the back 5? Why didn't you shut up shop?
It would be a no-win situation.
Exactly. He cannot win, so we've got absolutely fuck all to lose. get some of these changes that we saw yesterday, get some new, something new about the team and a new bit of balance, play Lacazette in a deeper role, but start him in a deeper role, not start him as a striker that comes back, because that doesn't work, because then you're losing a player, you're losing an option. So yeah, I don't think Willock gets into this one. I think El Neni, Maitland-Niles, or El Neni and Ceballos for me. I just don't want to see Xhaka. I really don't. I'm so worried. That's my one fucking worry. My biggest worry about the weekend. If William plays, whatever, fine. But Xhaka, please, no.
I think. Sorry, I was just going to cut in quick as well. Just going to say, if any of these players need motivation to get up for a North London derby, because we've seen this time and time again that they're not up for a game, or they just seem to drift off. Like recently, we've seen Aubameyang. Recently, we've seen Xhaka. Well, recently we've seen Xhaka. We see Xhaka all the time. And you see a couple of these players that's just sort of like, oh, the body language just goes. If you need that motivation to get up for this game, you're done.
Yeah.
To me, anyway, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Xhaka situation, is, I was a bit pissed off when Arteta came in and convinced Xhaka to stay. For what, man? For what? The guy don't want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, we saw what happened, right? He might have apologized, or maybe like a little weak apology or whatever. But look, when we don't like him and he don't like the fans, right? He's here to do a job. He's here to pick up his paycheck and whatnot, and that's it for him. There's anything else just wouldn't make sense, in terms of him having any kind of affection or affinity for the club and the fans. So
Xhaka's playing for Xhaka, mate. He's not playing for the club.
Exactly. So sometimes he might pull out a decent performance or whatever. All right, cool. He's earned his paycheck. That's the way he sees it. But he doesn't have any desire for Arsenal to do well as a club, or there's no connection between him and us. So in a match like this, hell no, like you don't want to see him. Of course not. It's like I said, I'd rather play you, Mike, in this match, just because it'll mean something.
Put in a performance, mate. It won't be very good, but I'll put in a performance.
You do it for free. Do you know what I mean? You would do it for free.
Who wanted an North London derby?
And you would have passion and a will to win.
And I'll be hanging out my ass after 10 minutes.
Of course, of course. No one's doubting that. We know that. Yeah.
Cheers.
But that's something that we don't really see in Xhaka. And so in a match like this, it's like we don't just need just a guy that's sort of just there to pick up his paycheck. We need somebody that badly wants to win and wants to prove something. And
we need someone that can move more,
and someone that can move. Yeah, and someone moves, someone that's mobile. So if I see him, my enthusiasm is going to go down quite a bit. But if I don't, and he's just on the bench or whatever, then I'm going to be a bit. Like, all right, okay, Arteta, you get it. Like,
you've finally seen the light.
And he, Arteta, we'll talk about it for a sec. He is slowly getting like all the sort of things that we talk about and we suggest: change the formation, moving Aubameyang in the middle, which I've been quite passionate about. Yeah. He is doing it. You know what I mean? But I think right now the problems with Arsenal are like up here. It's not so much about formations or whatnot. It's mental, and we need to get over this hurdle of get over this block that we're in. And as I always say to like my friends and stuff, like it's so funny like how misery loves company, right? Because I always find it a bit baffling that a squad of 20 something players could all be in bad form at the same time. We're all individuals, and sometimes I'm happy, and then when I'm happy you might be sad or whatnot. But when things are good or shit around the club, it's around the whole club. That every single player seems to just be in bad form, maybe with the exception of one or two. You wouldn't think that people and life would work like that, but it actually does work like that. But as easy as that it is to sort of go into bad form, as easy as it is to go into good form. And this is what I touched on earlier. Someone like Aubameyang, we need our captain. Like happy again, smiling again, scoring again. And I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. I feel it all around me. Aubameyang scoring this match. and
He needs
we
it.
lose it.
He needs it. He needs it. There is that. I suppose there is that case of obviously with the captain after after the Wolves game, Joe Willock went up to do the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where that captain thing sort of goes for me. I think that captain, is putting a lot of pressure on Aubameyang. But the problem is there's no one else to really take it at the minute. And I don't like the fact that Joe Willock went up to do the interview rather than one of our senior players. And I think that's what really bothers me with that at the minute. And I've been quite open about that, to be fair.
Yeah, but you know what? Because Aubameyang ain't used to this. I don't think he's used to it. He's not used to. He's not used to going this amount of games without scoring.
Yeah,
being in a team that is playing like this badly.
Yeah.
He's not. This is not him. So how players react to adversity says a lot about them. I don't necessarily think he's a player that reacts well to adversity, which is what your problem is with him. You know, in terms of being a captain. But he is a guy that you don't mind being captain when things are going well, because you know his bubbly nature and whatnot can keep the spirit of the dressing room quite high.
Yeah, I get that. But I did want to. There's another point I wanted to make, and I was meant to make it during the Vienna game. I know it was our first time that fans were back in the stadium. 2,000 fans. Absolutely brilliant. It's nice to see that going along. I think that's great. Hearing a bit of singing, hearing a bit of chanting in the game. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Yeah.
Did you watch it live? Yeah. Did you see the banner by any chance?
I saw the fucking banner. Yep.
Right. I'm just going to mention this. Don't ruin it for the fans. You know, you're going in to support the team, not to support the player. You know, your 2,000 fans. Don't ruin it. Don't wreck it by putting something like that up. Did you see the banner, Cory?
I didn't see it. I didn't notice it. No.
We want Mesut. Was it one? Yeah, we want Mesut Ozil.
Mesut back.
Oh, bring Mesut back.
And what? Yeah, my. As soon as I saw it, I just thought, what a fucking moron, right? Have your opinion, like Mesut Ozil, cool. But this is the first chance in probably the best part of a year. I think
it's been since
March, wasn't it?
Since last season, yeah. Was it March?
Early March. I think that was
early March.
On it. But the best part of a year, and your first fucking thought is not to support whatever 11, you know, whether it's Granit Xhaka on that pitch or Mustafi or Kolasinac, you know, both of them were. But whoever is on that pitch, you go there and you support the 11 that are out there. Don't go there pushing a fucking agenda for a player that's not playing. Like, do that at another time. Do that online. Do that on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But the first time you're back in the stadium to support the players that are playing, don't push your Mesut shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mesut paid the person to bring out that banner. Look, honestly,
it was on a bit of paper. It was on a bit of paper with a fucking felt tip.
Let's not make it obvious. If you give you a really nice banner, it's going to be obvious. So we just make it a shit one.
Yeah.
But
get your child to paint it. Happy days. We'll get it.
Yeah.
It's 20k. You know. Don't worry about it, lads.
I'll 20k. Jesus.
Nah, but look, when it comes to Arsenal and banners, you know, we don't have a great history. You know,
No.
So I'm not surprised. This is our fan base is a little bit, you know, like this, you know, and we're often quite divided in how we do things and our opinions and how we go about it. Is what it is. Just, you know, there's only 2,000 fans. It's a little banner, whatever. Like, no one cares really. Do you know what I mean? So
no, I just think it's the wrong time to do something like that. You know, the fans have just walked back in. We've finally got 2,000 back in the stadium. You're starting to hear them little chants, them little, you know, that pocket of singing and everything else. I think that's great. And then it goes and gets ruined by some cockwomble with a fucking banner. You know, bring back Mesut. You know, just drop it. You don't need to do that. There's no need for it.
No, of course not. It's
go support the team that, you know, they knew Mesut wasn't on the pitch. They knew about all this crap. They know he's not in the starting 11 on, you know, it's in the 25 for the Prem, for the league or the Europa. You don't need to do it. Everybody knows.
Yeah,
just drop it.
But my thing is with that is that could be some sort of like what I spoke about earlier. Some, you know, some people within the club, some people within the squad could feel like that, and as you say, you can see why there might be a bit of divide in the dressing room and a bit of bad feeling between some of the players and the manager. So that's something that we definitely just need to get rid of. No banners, and within the dressing room, let's get rid of that whole thing, because it's an ongoing, it's a dark cloud that we need to move past.
Well, this is it, innit? And obviously, if this hash with the players and manager happened on Tuesday, the last thing they needed to see was a dickhead with a banner.
Yeah,
they've already hashed it out. They've had their go at each other. They've done whatever they needed to do at the club. Unfortunately, we have this thing at the minute where there's someone who keeps leaking stories from the club. I don't know who it is. It has been well reported by Arteta about is trying to find the problem, or the problem that they're trying to get a solution of the problem, that someone's actually doing it. I hope they find them quick. I really do, because we're not used to this as Arsenal fans. We very rarely hear anything from the club about anything. Especially something like this. So yeah, just let's get rid of it.
Do you not like it though? Do you not like hearing about what goes on?
I don't mind it. I think something like this, I think it's good to hear something like this. But I would have preferred it from someone within the club who's reported it. Something that says, look, we've all had a chat. We've all had a hash out. Things have been said. We're all good. Everyone's at a level playing field. The harmony's been put back right. We're moving forward with our team. Not by from some dickhead, just probably fucking tweeting it or trying to get 10k from a bloody newspaper. I've got a story for you. Fuck off, you snitch.
I agree. Remember when Theo Walcott accidentally disclosed that that there was a big meeting at the club?
Yeah. But you see, there's a difference between accidental or accidental. Yeah, it was on purpose from a player, and it is from some snitch.
They were like, "What the fuck, Theo? Yeah. You weren't supposed to tell anyone. That wasn't meant for public consumption, man. Yeah, I mean, that was between us." It's like, "Oops, sorry." So these things do happen. They go on all the time, and usually we're not privy to it. I do think it should just stay within the club. It is cool. Everyone likes transparency. Everyone likes to sort of hear about things that's going on. But in terms of like what's good for the players and what's good for the club and whatnot, I think these things should be kept under wraps, and they definitely need to find the snitch, because snitches do get stitches.
Yeah, why not? Sentiment put on a comment: well, snitches get stitches. You're right, they do. But on that, go on, Steve. We'll get you.
Yeah, thing that annoys me the most is just how much of a divide it causes in the fans. It's like when you see clickbait articles go up and so said this, or this is a certain opinion of a player, and it's based on fuck all. It's based on absolutely nothing. It annoys the media. Really, really fucking annoys me when it comes to Arsenal, because they'll put stuff out to cause a reaction, and there's so many idiots that just buy it and start slagging off the players, go completely overboard, and that doesn't help, especially when these players haven't got fans in the stadium backing them, because they probably do feel like actually at the moment everybody is against us, everybody is is down on us. So the fact that fans can start going back in and singing their names and chanting and cheering, I think we'll start to see a bit of a reaction now. I hope.
Hopefully so. And I just think with a lot of that stuff, that's the problem with Arsenal fans, I think, mate, to be fair. But I think that's a story for another time, or to go on with another time with bloody Arsenal fans. We can say that all the way around. On ArseBros, we try and keep it, somewhat realistic and somewhat, give and take. So, one person will have one opinion, another person will have a completely opposite opinion to that opinion. So that's how we try and be on this one. We like debates, mate. That's what we like. We like debates.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone's entitled to an opinion. We have to accept in this world that there's just toxic people in this world. They just want to see the world burn. They're just miserable cunts that, do you know what I mean? That just like to moan about
keyboard warriors, mate. That's what they are.
they exist, and they're not going anywhere. They're, as soon as it's
the summer. You never know.
But it is what it is. You just gotta just learn to ignore them, and
Sorry, I've just put a comment about why not sentiment again. Kieran saying he to give the snitch a Glaswegian kiss. Have some of that, bosh.
Well,
I thought he was going to do that to Xhaka after one of the last games. To be fair, but yeah, on that one then, right? We'll have a quick score prediction. Steve, what's your score prediction, mate? We've got to do it. We've got to do it.
Yeah, well, I can't.
You've got to. I'm doing it.
2-1 Arsenal. 2-1. I can't go the other way. Whether I think that or not, I just can't. It's 2-1 Arsenal.
Corey,
an optimistic 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
Yeah.
I was actually.
Don't do it. Trev will have your head off. Trev will have your fucking head off.
He's all right. He's got to get to him.
Go on.
Yeah, for me, I was going to go the same. Not 2-2, but I was going to go 1-1 draw.
It's not that bad. I thought you were going opposite to me.
No, I can't predict a loss against the scumbags. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm going to go for a draw just for the recent form we're on. If we get a win, I'll happily eat my words. But I cannot predict a loss.
Listen, if we get a win,
I'll be elated.
I will streak like it's freezing outside. I will run around my.
How about this?
Next Friday.
If we get a win, we screen. If I can find it, we screen the scarf picture.
No, we're not screening that picture. I've seen that picture. I don't want that picture.
Let's do it.
No.
If we win, it comes out.
No, Steve. We're not watching that. We're not looking at that picture. We don't want to see it. But yeah, Corey. Next Friday, if we win, we're live. Get your streaking done.
Hey, listen, I will give it serious consideration if we do win. You know, seriously.
I ain't got enough room to be streaking in the year. Look, that's my roof there. You know, I can't even stand up straight. My streaking's looks like I'm fucking hunched. Nah. But yeah, we have got some other why not sentiment. It's gone for a 1-0. There's no one else really put any other predictions. So, but anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. In fact, well, thanks for joining me, you two. You know, it's been a great show again. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You know, I appreciate it. If you like the show, I'd appreciate it if you just give it a click on your YouTube. Just click the like button. I really would appreciate that. And then we're on to Sunday. We're not going live for that one. I can't do a live on a Sunday. I'd be all nerves. I'm getting het up and a few beers. I'll be gone. A live show on a Sunday is not good for me on this one at all. Yeah. But yeah, we will be back next Friday. The next fixture, I always do this to myself.
After that is Dundalk next week.
Is it Dundalk?
I believe so. And then Burnley 7:15 Sunday.
Another fucking what?
Yep.
Man, why do I do this show on a Friday? No, that's Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get on to that next week. We'll have a review on the Dundalk, and we'll be getting the predictions and everything for Burnley game. Till then, thanks very much for joining us, guys. Again, thank you very much. See you next week.
Happy